Hello and welcome to Las Blancas Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of Las Blancas. We begin the month of March, which we have branded as March Mayhem, with the first game of the month against Athletic Club in the league. And this wasn't going to be easy, but surprisingly, it turned out to be not so difficult. The first test of this month, and yeah, I mean, pretty pleased with it not being so difficult. But also, there's a lot of talking points to talk about. And unfortunately, we were supposed to have Isa on this pod with us, but due to some reason, she could not make it. So we are recording this just the both of us. But don't worry, we have got an in-house athletic club uh, expert here with us. So we will get all the insights about Athletic Club as well. The game finished 2-1 with a former player scoring a penalty and two goals, one in each half coming for us. So it was a tight one as well. But most of the game we look comfortable. So before we get into that, before we talk about the lineups and what we talk about what transpired on the pitch, Kanita, how you feeling?
Yeah, this game is called Kanita Derby because there are two of my teams playing against each other. So yeah, it was fun. It was on San Mames. I was first time Real Madrid played on San Mames, and and like that tradition where the captain of the new team playing on San Mames, like giving the bouquet of flowers to like that to Kuchichi, like right on like beside the pitch, like
Yeah.
Ascona and Olga took pictures there. So yeah, it was fun. It was like 16,000 people there, and yeah, I mean, the Kanita Derby was a bit weird this time. I expected a better game, which usually Athletic does play, especially on San Mames. They have this like extra motivation. But this game, I don't know what happened, and this is one of the, like the rare San Mames games where they didn't really show up, But it's also due to the lineup that was put up, and yeah, there were some people missing as well. But yeah, we'll get into that. And yeah, another remontada, like a remontada to start off the month of March, I don't know what this is. Usually we start with the remontadas like a bit later in the season, like maybe April. Then we like go over no like remontada again after remontada. But we started early, so
Yeah, I mean, it was a comeback win. But for a lot of the game, I think we looked in control. We looked like we had things going our way, the way we wanted them to go. So I wasn't worried after, being the first to concede and everything. We were creating chances. We were hitting the post. We hit the post multiple times via Weir. It just wasn't her day. She could have had her brace as well. So, I feel like the game was completely under control. So let's start by looking at the lineups. Let's look at our lineups because there were some interesting calls and some calls that we understand after the international break because the international break was hectic to be honest. So yeah, let's look at our lineup first. So it was Misa in goal, Antonia starting as the right back now that we know Oyane is no longer here. So it's always going to be a choice between what do we want and how do we want to approach the game. So Antonia started this one. A centre back pairing of Maria Mendez and Lakrar, which was again I feel quite good. Olga returned to her left back position with a double pivot of Angeldal and Toletti. Now the front four is where rotation happened and where a key component of our lineup was missing. So Feller, Weir, and Athenia started behind Brune. Now Linda was missing, but obviously we have to factor in the thing that she played in the She Believes Cup. She played 3 games, all completed 90s in all of them. So and traveling back from the US to here, it's not easy. And I'm glad that she did not start this game. To be honest, because we have got a lot of games coming up. We have got Barcelona up next, then we have got Arsenal later in the month. So there's a lot of important games coming up in the season, and we need Linda Caicedo for games like that. So I was pretty happy that she was rested here, and Naomi Feller got a chance to start and showcase what she has got. And this also meant that Atenea was sort of starting from the get go on the left hand side, which she prefers as well, attacking and cutting in and being able to take the shots. So that was nice to see. But apart from that, very solid lineup. I think there was no complaints from me. I completely understood the decision to bench Linda in this game. So yeah, no real complaints. What were your initial thoughts when you saw the team sheet?
Yeah, actually, I think we had only like three changes from the like last game before the international break. But yeah, I mean, first of all, like the center back changed because Rocío started the last game, and yeah, and isn't available now because she got surgery. So yeah, our center back pairing is like this because we don't have any other center back. First of all, like wasn't any other option, and Antonio started as a right back. So and yeah, our three midfielders started, and I was glad to see that Linda was rested. So just that, and I saw like when I saw the lineup. Okay, so this is a strong lineup. This is good, and Linda getting rest. So I was pleased with it. All in all.
Yeah, the same sentiment basically. But I feel like there was a lot of talk. Isa was also commenting on the game, and I spoke to you as well about this. And Athletic Club were not their usual self, right? Like from the first look at their lineup, Nerea was missing from the left back position, which was not usual. Sara Ortega, who has been in midfield, who has played right back this season a lot, who has played in midfield quite frequently, and sometimes filling in at right back. She was starting as the left back option. Nahikari was there. Nahikari, Amezaga, and Ascona, would feel pretty standard. But apart from that, the way it transpired on the pitch was also a little surprising, the way they took shape. So take us through the lineup, and what did Aznar, who a former Real Madrid manager as well, did differently in this game, and what changed in Athletics' approach in this game?
Okay, so first of all, when I saw the lineup, I was really confused. Why did he do this? Because it did look cowardly from the beginning. Now, like looking just at the shape of this on paper, doesn't look like that. But here's the thing. So, okay, there were some rumors about Nerea being sick at the beginning, but she played after. I don't know if that was true. Maybe I don't know. But first of all, he started Landaluse at the back, which wouldn't be weird. She is a true center back and all that. However, the entirety of the season since Bibi got injured, since Bibi tore her ACL in like the beginning of the season, it was Madi, Leire Baños, and Maite Subieta that were forming the back three the whole time, and they got into the groove, playing together at the back three, and they know each other pretty well. And listen, I love Landaluse. However, if you bring on Landaluse to start immediately, against a team like Real Madrid, after obviously not being in the groove with the rest of the defense, well, it will look weird. And the shape, like how Athletic like changed shapes, was very weird. Like when they were trying to build up, especially like in build up, it was 3-4-3, but then they would switch to 4-3-3. And I don't know, like if something wasn't working, if they were stuck at the back, if the ball was stuck at the back, then later would go back to form the front three with Madi and Landaluce again. But mostly Madi and Landaluce were together, like forming the back four together with Elish and Sara Ortega. So that was very weird. Usually it would be just Madi, Baños, and Subieta there. And yeah, Sara doesn't really start at the left back. Like he puts her on the right back sometimes instead of Elish Puru. But this was weird. I'm not again. I don't know the reason he benched Nerea. Nerea is one of the key players in this team. So I was quite annoyed by that, and I knew there were going to be problems with this. And often he subbed on Nerea. Nerea was put on as a left midfielder while Sara was still a left back. For some reason, I wouldn't tell you why. I can't read his mind. So yeah. And yeah, also like Nahikari and Escona playing together is like starting together is a bit weird because was usually be like either one of them would start. Like this game it was like either one game like Kari, one game Ascona. So yeah. And I was talking to Isa like a few days before this game. We were like talking what the lineup would be. We were wrong, obviously, but we were talking about okay, so it's just like a question whether Naikari or Ascona would start, and then that's weird. So yeah, that's pretty much it about the lineup being weird. And also Valero was like when they were off the ball, obviously they were on 4-4-2 all the time, but Valero would come up with Naikari to first. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a Real Madrid manager thing to put out weird lineups. As Nar also a former Real Madrid manager, so but I think one of the reason that I can probably say why Sara Ortega was in the lineup. I mean, Nerea Nevado is a really good player, no doubts about that. But I feel like the progression Sara has shown defensively this season is very commendable, and I feel that is what was expected of her in this game. To be able to block that threat, to be able to defend deep and do all of that while being able to provide some sort of attacking output. I think that defensive upside that Sara has shown this season was something that was taken into consideration, maybe. And regarding the shape, I personally felt like Athletic were playing in a back four for most of the game. Like it was very rarely a back three. The back off the ball, as you mentioned, it was immediately a 4-4-2. So there weren't many pros that they took out of this back three shape that they were suggesting they are going to play. Because it for most of the parts it was just a back four, like you mentioned. So yeah, I mean a strange call, but yeah, it is what it is. Let's start by talking about how the game progressed, right? Like immediately 2 minutes, 3 minutes in, and it's Caroline Weir hitting the post, and immediately you think, okay, we have got the upper hand in this. We are dominating. We are attacking quite well. We are able to retain the ball in the final third quite well, and we are creating threat because the defensive. I feel like defensively, Athletic Club were quite frail in this game. Like they weren't very solid. We were able to beat the marker. We were able to slice them through. That midfield four was not really blocking many passing lanes. Toletti from deep was able to pick out vertical passes quite easily. I felt like there wasn't much pressure. The 4-4-2 that they were playing off the ball were mainly just focused on blocking the initial passes to Toletti and Angeldal and not pressing much, and that allowed the center backs a lot of time as well. So once it went wide, the movement of our midfielders made it quite easy for them to receive and then play the ball forward. All of this happening, and immediately a few minutes later, we concede a penalty. Nahikari wins the penalty as well. Atenea fouls her, and then she steps up and scores it as well. Uh, you know, this former player coming back to haunt us. is not really that that weird, because when we played Deportivo as well, Ortiz was quite good again. So these former players stepping up, it's a common thing in football, and Nahikari stepping up and scoring that penalty was no different. I felt like after that goal things might change, but they did not. I feel like going 1-0 down, it sort of forced us to be more positive instead of us taking the lead, and that quite helped us, honestly. So what did you think of those first 10-20 minutes where we had the momentum, we had the domination, but then Athletic Club had the lead? Did you think that we are about to lose? Because as you mentioned earlier, Athletic Club do have a good sort of record of playing well at San Mames, and this game could, while not on the pitch, not showing that domination, but they could still have that edge, that scoreline lead. Did you think at that point that Athletic Club can win this in the first 20 minutes?
No, listen, I thought like before the game that they could have won it, like they had a chance. But I think it was pretty obvious that wasn't their day. Like sometimes it happens. Like sometimes they just turn off. Like earlier in the season, it was a similar game against Atletico Madrid as well. Like they just turned off, lost like 2-0. For example, like the game on San Mames against Barcelona was amazing. Like
Yeah.
then they had a really good game. So they just flip the switch sometimes. I'm not sure. Like yeah, the lineup as well, obviously, but um, I after that goal, like not right after that goal, that I was thinking, okay, we might. But listen, Athletic can score early, and they are very capable of keeping that lead, because the back line is pretty solid most of the times, again when they don't flip the switch. But this wasn't the usual back line we had, not the usual kind of chemistry we had going on with the players usually in during the season. So it is, as the game progressed a bit, I was like, yeah, Athletic is not winning this. This is obviously gonna be a remontada. It was smelling like that, like after like maybe the first half an hour or something. But just to comment on that, Nahikari scored a penalty. I was like, oh my God, I can't watch the penalty. I wanted her to score, obviously. So and she celebrated. Listen, I wanted her to score. I knew the listen, Real Madrid won, Nahikari scored. It's fine, like it's a win-win situation for me at the end of the day. I love Nahikari, and she scored. So yeah, that's fun. But I got to see it. I just want to say it. So yeah. And yeah, I think what was happening, well, like between both of the teams, it was really hard to get long passes like through the ground. Like either when Madrid tried it, Athletic would intercept it, or when Athletic tried and Madrid would intercept it, and it was always a like back and forth possession when someone attempted like at least medium pass through the midfield, like through the ground. And it was fun, and especially on like Real Madrid's right hand side with like Feller, because Sara Ortega was there like against her, so that like duel between Feller and Sara was good, because both of them have this characteristic of being good at recoveries, and having this defensive factor as well. So it was a fun duel, like especially well, more in the first half. In the second half it was much less athletic. So yeah.
And I'll tell you what happened after the goal. That goal was one shot, one on target. They had four shots in total in the game, and two of them were blocked. So, like after that goal, the shot tally instantly like tells you that they weren't having the best of the days. They weren't able to stitch attacks. They were sloppy sometimes in possession, and we'll talk about how the second goal came about as well. It was sloppiness in possession and everything. So although they had the lead in the first 20 minutes, it never felt like they were in the game, which was quite wild, honestly. Like I expected a sort of a challenging game, but it didn't turn out that way. We compared to their four, we had some 26 shots. We had 15 in the first half itself. We had 11 in the second half. So, we were completely dominant in this game, and the scoreline at the end had us winning, which it went towards the very end, like final 10 odd minutes, and I was like, okay, I'm glad we won, but we should have finished it quite early. But yeah, so let's talk about our goals then. The first one coming off a corner, and the second one, oh my god, like the second one was out of the blue, honestly. Like no attack building, we were struggling, we are once again hitting the post from that side, and it was like, okay, are we really going to sort of not be able to score? Is the ball refusing to go in? Because we had 9 shots on target, we hit the woodwork twice, and it was just not happening. It was 1-1. But then Olga pulled off a blinder, absolute blinder, and we ended up winning the game. But yeah, first goal from a corner, Brune at near post touches it slightly. I don't know if Feller gets a touch on that one, but then it's Lakrar who is on the far post and just finishes it off. Pretty easy goal, pretty straightforward, and once again, having Brune in these sort of balls in the air, she's able to flick those, she's able to get her head to those, and turn them in. So always an advantage to have such a player. And yeah, it was pretty straightforward goal. I'll quickly take your thoughts on that before we comment on that absolute peach of a goal from Olga and the celebration that followed.
Yeah, I just checked. Feller didn't touch it. It didn't look like to me either. I was confused why you thought in the first goal that it's that Feller. But yeah, it was a
Yeah,
very
because
fun corner.
after Brune flicked it, she went for the challenge, and I felt like she got a
Yeah.
slight deflection. That is what I remember, but apparently not. Yeah, it was very unclear, and it just went to the
Mm.
far post, and then uh, Lakrar just finished it off from very close range.
Yeah, I just checked. It was Bruno assist, so yeah, she
Yeah,
didn't touch it. But it was a really fun corner, like how Bruno died for it, and like the
yeah,
backhander assist, and for Lakra right there to get her header in. Like, yeah, it was a pretty beautiful corner there. But also I just have to mention, like, while we're at the corners, that we sometimes try the short corner routine between Weir and Atenea, something that I saw like maybe 2 years ago that I was talking about a lot, and then we didn't see it for a long time. And then, yeah, it happened a few times, like the short corner routine between the two. There was a chance as well in the game. I can't remember which minute, but it was like Weir Atenea quick, and then Weir, and then goes through towards the box, and yeah, it was shot something. But yeah, I just slight digression there because the goal was from the corner and was from the same side that exact corner, like short corner routine was taken. So yeah.
yeah. And I mean, let's talk about the second one. Intercepts the ball near the halfway line, takes one touch, looks up, goalkeeper sees goalkeeper slightly off the line, and just takes a chance. And oh my god, it went in. And that was some goal, honestly. Like we know Olga can strike it from range. We know that she has done that for club, for country, on big occasions. We know that she can do that. But that was wild. Like that was 35, 40 yards out, and she just took it. And that is what, like, fortune favors the brave, they say, and it definitely did. Like it was it was a wild decision to intercept a pass from that. And it's a transition situation. The opposition defense is in chaos, and you could attack, but then she straight up went for the shot and scored it. And it was amazing, honestly. And the celebration that followed, raising the tees for Tere and Rocío both. Tere, obviously, we know, as we mentioned in the previous pod as well, has torn her ACL and probably will be out for the entire year almost. So yeah, teams showing that camaraderie is really good. Also for Rocio, who had undergone a surgery, as you mentioned, and will also be out for a while. Maybe we won't see her this season. Maybe we will towards the very end. But yeah, so it was nice to see, nice gesture from the side. But what a goal! Honestly, what a goal! Like, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, it was a quick recovery. I think
It
Athletic
was a sloppy
tried.
pass as well. It was
Yeah,
a sloppy.
yeah, Athletic tried an attack, and it was like a pass to Villarina, and then Olga just took it from her, and yeah, just turned around like didn't take long. Like she saw Clara saw off, obviously, because Villarino had just lost the ball, so she didn't have to be really at the goal most of the time. But Olga immediately saw it, didn't wait even a second, then shot it, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was perfect timing. And obviously, perfect shot. Like Olga is very capable of doing, obviously. And yeah, I mean, it was it's a really really good way, like to like then go to the celebration after that kind of goal and do that celebration at the sidelines to put up the shirts of the two injured players.
Yeah.
And it's really heartwarming as well. And also, like, before the game they were also wearing those white shirts, Animo Tere Rocio.
Yeah.
So yeah, good, very good way to end the game. And I knew that, like, we scored like in 80th minute, and I knew that, yeah, this is gonna stay like this. Like, not even that Real Madrid would score another goal. I really doubted that there would be another goal, because I don't know, it was that kind of game where it just felt like that. So yeah, I was just thinking, yeah, this is done, like 2-1. This is it. So yeah, really fun way to end it.
Yeah, I mean, a perfect winner, honestly, that sort of a screamer to win the game is always welcome, and to do it at a special stadium, to do it at San Mames is also a big moment, in my opinion, because we don't really get to play in these venues. And when we do, I feel like, to mark them with these sort of goals is always nice. Such goals against clubs with history. When Zoronosa scored that against Barcelona, it's still fresh in our memory. So, some these sort of goals are always memorable. But yeah, I think the other thing that I would like to talk about beyond this is Redondo. 67th minute she was subbed in, and Brune was still on the pitch. Brune played till some 80 odd minutes, and when she came on, we had Brune, Redondo both on the pitch. Redondo actually replaced Weir, and she played as the number 10, as the withdrawn striker. So are we actually like seeing this from Toril? Are we actually seeing Redondo be more? Because even in the previous games where, it's Redondo and Muller playing as the front two sometimes, it's always like she is a withdrawn player. Like, even when she's starting, and we have on the wings, we have Evan Navarro and somebody else on the left hand side, it's always that Redondo is playing slightly withdrawn and allowing other players to, go in behind, when this is a player that would like to run in behind, would like to get on the receiving and be in 1v1 situation and score. So are we seeing this sort of evolution from her, or is this something that Toril wants to envision her as? What do you make of this decision?
Yeah, so when she plays with Brun and without Weir on pitch, I can understand like it's a pretty um reasonable thing. Like Brun can be there to receive the crosses and all, and Redondo can be behind her acting as a 10 because Weir isn't there. So yeah, but the thing when she started with Moller and she still played as a 10 was a bit weird because that was more like Moller's position when she plays in the front two. So yeah, but I don't know, like Redondo is pretty decent. Like even like from the first game she was put on the number 10 role. It was interesting, but yeah, it's not like something you get like used to from Redondo but doing, especially with Weir starting a lot and maybe I don't know. I mean, obviously I can't read his mind. Maybe he just doesn't want to make a decision. So yeah, I don't know.
My
But it's bad. Like I like it as all, and also it's a good way to like rest Weir and have this sort of thing, with the 10 and with two of our strikers. So yeah, and especially like I think this is important. We have free available midfielders right now, and in order to rest Weir, especially because she plays all the time, I think this is a good way. Yeah.
my my only confusion with the decision in this game was because Linda Caicedo was also on the pitch
Oh yeah.
at that time, and she replaced Naomi Ferrer fair, but Atenea could have gone on the flanks. Redondo could play as the wide player coming, making those out to in runs and attacking in behind, and Linda could be the one playing as the number 10 with Brun being the focal point. That is what like quite like surprised me because Linda took up the left hand side, Atenea moved to the right, and it was Redondo in the middle and Brun leading the line, which is what, like, I think this is a serious consideration in the squad now, that Redondo is the sort of number 10 player that we can rely on, or we are going to use her like that, which I'm not sure how much I agree with. Yes, she can pull off good passes. She has done that in the past, picking up in the midfield. And it was the Real Sociedad game, I think, where, she picked up the ball in the midfield and played it off through as well. So she has that. There's no doubt about that. But is it the best use of her strengths? I'm not sure about that. But yeah, I mean, I think this is something to keep an eye on. This is an interesting development because we signed a player to be a backup of the striker position, and we are currently utilizing her as the backup for a number 10, which is quite different, in terms of her development as well. It's quite a new change. So yeah, something to keep an eye on and something that caught my eye and surprised me. But apart from that, like we mentioned, pretty straightforward game. MVP for the game.
Oh, okay. It's a bit tough. I'm I don't know. Okay, I was thinking like I'll give it to Lakra. Maybe it's not
For
like
the
an
goal.
obvious choice immediately, but obviously she scored the first goal, but she also had a good game defensively. She like even like stopping the dangers before they would turn into dangers, like even in the midfield. So yeah, I'll give it to Lakra.
I think that's fair choice. I am slightly torn. Like Olga obviously scored that goal. So a big goal, winning goals, scoring in that sort of fashion as well. So maybe Olga, maybe Toletti, because I really like Toletti, what she was doing in the midfield as well. She was commanding everything, moving the ball really quick. But for the winning goal, I feel like I'll give it to Olga for that goal. So yeah, good return to the starting lineup with that goal, I would say. So yeah, uh, I think that is about it for this pod. Next up is Barcelona, which is never easy. I'm sure it won't be, but I hope, given that Linda rested in this game, she'll start and we'll have our best lineup out there. And hopefully we will be better than what we were the last time around. We will put up a better fight. That is the least we can expect. And hopefully it's a good game and it's not a blowout like it was.
And we score a goal.
Hope we score 2.
Yeah, just
Hope
score.
we scored 2. It's about time. We scored multiple goals against them. But yeah, jokes aside, I hope like we really put our best foot forward in that game because it's really necessary. It will set the tone for the rest of the month. Winning this game was a big step in the right direction, and winning against Barcelona or pushing them to the absolute edge and taking a fair result where we are not at disadvantage from this Copa de la Reina tie would be quite vital, I think. So yeah, we'll see you for that. The pod for that game will follow, and soon there will be a preview pod for the Champions League as well. So keep an eye out for that. Once again, thank you for listening and thank you for supporting us. We will be back with the next pod. Until then, Ala Madrid.
A la Madrid.